So I almost lost a 30-year friendship. Wasn't over betrayal, not over money, not over family, politics. And the uncomfortable part is it wasn't because either of us suddenly became bad people. It happened because something in our culture is quietly training us to turn disagreement into a personal threat. And if we don't slow this down, we're going to keep burning relationships that actually matter. We're going to throw away things and relationships that have been paramount to us. I mean, this friendship, we have so many things in common. We've had fun. We've been through a lot of heartache and trauma with losing family, losing marriages, relationships, and we've been buddies forever. We've literally been through so much. And yet one conversation, not even one conversation, just one paragraph or one sentence, just one little fragment of a sentence could almost destroy this relationship. So let me tell you what happened. So one of my closest friends, and I've been friends for over 30 years, we could not be further politically apart. And somehow we've managed that difference without losing the friendship. I've literally sat with him and 12 other people that are on the same political party line as him, that multiple people in that table are even elected officials on numerous occasions over the years. And they all know where I sit politically, being politically opposite. And they've given me hugs, they loved on me, everything. We enjoy the little banner, but nobody goes heavy. And I never say anything. You know what? It's their table. I sit with them and I'm like, yeah, whatever, we're cool. You know, I disagree with a lot of things they say. These haven't been conversations where they're just flat out explosive conversations. But now politics has gotten so explosive. I've been able to sit with this guy and with all these other people with no blowups, no screaming matches, just an occasional, hey, let's drop it. I'm not even going to sit there and fight for the win. I'm just like, let's drop it because we're all friends. We're all having a good time. A couple of weeks ago, we're heading out to dinner and I'm exhausted. I'm fatigued. I'm hungry. Now, I haven't ate all day long. No food. I've had challenges coming up with friends that are dealing with some heavy stuff, and that's weighing on me. And so I'm fatigued. I haven't been sleeping really well, but I just want a break. So I'm with my buddy. I'm like, this is our break. This is go out with my buddy and hang out and just, you know what, no heavy, right? On the way, while we're on the road, he brings up the Minneapolis situation. Again, I didn't want politics. I didn't want heavy. I just wanted food and peace to be able to laugh with and joke around with my buddy. But the Minnesota thing's blowing up. So I asked to change the subject. And I had even warned him that, hey, I said, here's where I'm at. I need this evening to be just, let's just have some fun, joke around. Let's just BS and keep it light. But he kept pushing. He got onto one little piece and he said, just answer me this. And I'm like, dude, just drop it. He goes, no, just answer me this. And I'm like, okay, so here's how I see it. I didn't even answer. I just tried to say, here's how I see it, to set it up so he would understand why I see things the way I do, and then just let it go. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what I think. I'm not the deciding factor. I'm not the one that makes the difference in this conversation. I know everybody thinks that they can just run out and they can be, I don't care what side you're on, you can just run out and you can just change everything. But you can't be positive running out and getting into somebody's face. You can't be positive fighting back and forth. No matter which side you're on, you have to if you really want to make a change, number one, you have to get involved and do some research and actually take the time to help in a methodical, calm way where you work from the backside and you work through the political organizations. You can get into that. You can see, but I've done that before. And what I found is that I really don't make a difference in that. And so I got out of that. I think that's why I don't get so politically charged anymore, is because I've seen how politics works on both sides of the aisle. And I'm like, you know what? This is not for me. But on this case, he kept on pushing, and I snapped. And I did something I've never done before. I yelled F off. He was shocked. I had never done that before. And honestly, so was I. I was shocked that it came out of my mouth. But I was that exhausted. Now, that was not political anger. That was exhaustion, finding an outlet. And I'm sitting here thinking, are all these people that are screaming at each other, are all these people exhausted? The same people keep showing up. It's a different issue. They yell at each other. And it's different issues, but it's over and over. They keep on showing up. And I thought, well, these people are just activists. And I agree that they aren't going to listen in the moment when they're yelling. And you see the recordings of people that are screaming and they have political opinions, but they don't even know why they have that political opinion. And that frustrates the other side, right? These people that are showing up to these things, a lot of them, they aren't being political. They're just angry and they're exhausted people. And it's probably not even politics that they're angry and exhausted about. They're just life exhausted, life angry, and they are using this as an outlet to say whatever they're doing. So back to being my buddy, what happened next is strange. He told me to turn around and take him home. I said, no, we're going to eat. And he said, take me home. I'm going, no, we're going to eat. I'm on my way. I'm not turning around. I'm going to eat. I'm going to enjoy my meal. This is going to work out fine. And that's the end of it. Then he said to me, he goes, I'll Uber home. And I said, good. I hope it costs you $100. And at that point, I'm like, okay, here we go again. I said, call Billy. And Billy's this guy we always call and give a hard time whenever we're going anyplace. So we get in the vehicle together and we always call Billy. And Billy's out in California. He's in nice warm weather. And we just call him up and we just pick on him for a little bit. And it's fun and we laugh. But so he goes, okay. So we called Billy and Billy was like, well, what's up here? Something's not right. We're like, yeah, well, we're pissed off at each other. And he goes, oh, okay. So anyways, it was kind of funny because it's kind of reversed. Billy was having some fun with us. But we get to dinner and it's quiet. We kept it light conversation. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't fun like it was usually. And we went through the rest of the way. And then I dropped him off and everything was fine. And a week later, we're hanging out like nothing ever happened. Fortunately, the friendship and everything, it's all good. But here's the thing. Most friendships don't survive moments like that anymore. That moment made something painfully clear, and that is politics isn't destroying relationships. Unregulated emotional pressure is. We've taken every frustration in our lives, whether it be work, money, loneliness, meaning, and we poured it into politics. Politics isn't creating the anger. It just gives it a costume to live under. And now every conversation feels like a loyalty test. And it goes beyond politics. It goes into just anything. And there are people on YouTube who have made it their business to get you on their side and create fights with other YouTubers, with other people. And we're going to war, verbal war, whatever. If you don't agree with me, you must be against me. Now, that's not civic engagement. That's tribal survival instinct. And it's burning families. It gets into families. It rips families apart. It rips friendships apart. It rips homes apart. It's getting in between marriages. Here's the part we don't like to admit. There are massive incentives that are keeping us angry. And media doesn't profit from calm. Social media doesn't reward restraint. Outrage spreads faster than wisdom. And when people feel powerless in their own lives, they look for something big to fight. So we argue about national problems while ignoring the 5 people closest to us. And no election result is worth losing your brother, your father, your lifelong friend. So here's what I believe is true about human nature. We were never meant to carry out constant outrage without becoming destructive. And there's an ancient principle that says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and even slower to anger. We need to practice that because the truth is, we think our friends are losing. We think the other side is losing. We're all losing. That wasn't written for polite people. It was written for the volatile ones. And that statement, if we go back to be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger, that's not weakness. That's discipline. Letting go of a comment from a political opposite and just saying, hey, let's talk about something else. That's not failure. That's not defeat. That's a win because you're finding common ground that you can work together. Destroying the opposition feels powerful, but it never produces repair. And if you don't have repair, you don't win. Nobody wins. Even if you get the better end of the deal, you still don't win. You lose something. Because my 30-year lifelong buddy, who I adamantly disagree with on political views, has been an awesome and loyal friend to me and will continue to be an awesome and loyal friend for the rest of my life. Does he do things that cause me a lot of grief because I choose to let it because I've got his back? Sure. I do things that cause him a lot of grief, and he chooses to have my back. That's what friendship is. We have a great time hanging out. We have a great time doing deals. We have a great time just having fun. We have a great time, even in misery. We get together and we help each other through it. You know, when he goes through a bad relationship, I told you so. We get to laugh about it afterward. Let's lower the temperature in our private life. Not every conversation needs to be a battlefield. Second is protect real relationships over abstract wins. You don't get points for being right if you end up alone. You don't. It sucks. You lose. Third, you choose influence over domination. And I do that all the time with my buddy. Now, I'm better at cutting the conversation. He's not good at cutting the conversation. He'll burn it down till it's gone. I'll cut it, and I'll just say, you know what, let's not argue it, because I don't need to win. My buddy needs to win. At the same time, he's willing to stop when I'm willing to say, let's go a different direction, because he doesn't want to lose the friendship either. So if your goal is to humiliate somebody, you've already lost. And yeah, like him, I get to humiliate him on a lot of things, and he gives me a lot of reasons to do that, and he knows it. But I only do it on things that he's capable of handling the humiliation on it because he knows he's done something that's stupid. But when it comes to politics, he thinks he's always right, and I'm not going to prove him wrong, and I'm not going to ruin a friendship trying to prove him wrong. And sometimes he might be right. Either way, I'm not going there. We don't need to go there. He has plenty of other people that he can sit there and he can fight with. And one of them's not me. We're friends. And we don't need to do that. Admittedly, I'm not the only person on the opposite end politically that is friends with him. But there's a common theme. You don't talk politics with him, period. If you do, then you're not going to be friends with him. He just pushes it. He's all on. And I'm like, I'm letting it go. I'm not going to war with that. It's not worth losing my friendship with him. And I know politically I can't change anything. So finally, practice self-awareness. I wasn't my best self that night. Owning that mattered. And we need leaders and citizens who can fight hard in public and still eat dinner together afterward. Now, oddly enough, that used to be normal. It only feels impossible now because we stopped practicing it. Unity doesn't mean agreement. It means restraint, courage, and humility. I remember growing up, and for a long time, that you would hear about politicians in the House and the Senate, in the state, and in the federal government, fighting it out, pummeling each other on the floor over bills. They couldn't disagree more. And then you would hear, yeah, I just had dinner with so-and-so, which is the opposite party who just insulted you during the daytime. And you go out for drinks and dinner in the evening, and you hang out, and you have a good time, and you laugh, and everything's fine. That happened all the time in D.C. and in your state house, your city, your county, and your state government and federal government. Everybody congregated together afterwards. It was like they did the politics, and it was over at the end of the day. So they got together with their friends that were on the opposite sides of the aisle. But today, that doesn't happen. The politicians that we have in office today, in the federal level, in the state level, they get into fights with the opposite side, and they don't go sit down and have dinner together. As a matter of fact, a lot of them encourage harassment of the political opposite, even in their personal life, in their private life, and when they go out to dinner. And then you have restaurant staff that see that, and they even will cause issues to happen. We've really screwed this up. We should all be able to get together after we discuss the political issue and sit down and break bread together and have our common themes come together. The things that we enjoy doing, we should be able to come together. Politics shouldn't divide us. It should be a means of bringing different sides of the issue and fighting for those different sides of the issue and coming together so that we can do what's right. We've used politicians as examples in our homes, with our family, with our friends, and in our community. We need to come together and break bread with people we disagree with, and learn that we're human. Learn that we don't do that anymore. We need to do that. More people need to be like my buddy and I, who are on totally opposite ends of the aisle. Even though we can't talk politics together, we can laugh, we can have fun, we can do business deals together, we can fight about things as long as it's not politics, and we get over it, and we help each other through tough times. I mean, it's a solid friendship that can get destroyed by one political conversation. And that's not right. So I'm asking myself this, and maybe you should too. Are we actually doing what's best for our country? Or are we just venting our own frustrations? The world doesn't need more outrage. It needs more grown adults. So if this hits close to home, subscribe. Not for politics, but for clarity. I'm genuinely curious. Have you lost a relationship over politics or managed to save one? Tell me what made the difference. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.